What is the difference between being punk and being a punk?
We are here to talk some punk rock, some music, comics,
Punk culture, DIY shit, anything we want to talk about.
That's what fascinates me. Give me everything. Absolutely everything.
I find that music and comics have always been intertwined.
Muckspout.
Chicks dig it. Don't worry.
Okay, welcome to Muckspout. This is the Margaret Hooligans here with us this week, and we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Eric, our normal moderator, is incommunicado currently, so we are trying our best to get through this and not screw everything up. So anyway, hi guys.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce yourselves?
So I go by Meg Craddy.
And I'm the Mr. Strontium.
And is that your code name to protect the innocent?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our innocent selves, that is. Maybe
There
a few
you
other
go.
people, but ourselves mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to know who I am.
And what is your mission in music? What if you have a code name? You must have a mission.
Oh,
right?
that's true. I hadn't really thought of it in spy terms.
Not to give in.
All right, that works.
That's a good one.
So it looks like you guys essentially started recording right around the pandemic. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, we started playing together about 6 months before it hit.
okay, and then that was obviously gave you ample opportunity to get in.
Yes, I think for us and certainly some of our friends who were in bands who could live together, it was very helpful. Terrible for the world, but very helpful for creative people who got lucky enough to be together for that time because nothing was going to mess with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it actually just ended up working out that we had the time. Like, life is busy at this stage, and we just didn't have the time to kind of figure it all out. Like, I think we maybe had an inkling that we could do a little digital recording before it. I can't actually remember when we started doing it. Because we still actually use a 2-track system to record like our jams and stuff like that, and then we will listen to them on cassette tapes and decide what makes sense to make us a song out of. But I had kind of had this idea that I could use GarageBand because I had done a little bit of messing around with it prior to us playing together. So we just started kind of messing around and seeing if it would work, and then when the pandemic hit, we started investing in like actual equipment that was better than what I currently had.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a few more mics.
Yeah.
When those cassette tapes break and you have to put them together, I mean, you don't want to be a little cobbler anymore. It's fun, but it's also awful. So
right.
we're going with the rectangle like everyone else, I guess.
Yeah, I found that the pandemic definitely between audio and video for everyone. I think there was a lot of quick learning on trying to figure out how to like communicate with the outside world and like just keep active. And it was amazing to see how quickly some people adapted to jamming over Zoom and things like that were incredible. Right. I was seeing like 6-piece ska bands do 6 little windows. And I was like, how many times did you have to actually practice that before you could get to a point where you were anywhere near in time? So it was...
I tried running a jam group on Zoom for so I play the ukulele, and that has its own little weird world.
Acoustic, you play electric ukulele
for the band, but I also play acoustic. And so anyway, I've been running jam groups for a long time, and we just decided to move it to Zoom during the pandemic, and it was the hardest thing to do because I knew you just have to turn everybody else off, so then it's weird because they're all silent and I get to lead it, and I see a bunch of faces, and then I had to interpret the faces, are they keeping up with me? I don't know.
Oh, that person's a little fast, so I would typically slap them.
Yeah,
the movie tells me to.
I'm that part of the pandemic I'm glad is over. It is much better to play in person with people and hear them in real time.
Better. Yes, but it was nice to have the ability to somewhat like
Right.
connect with other humans during that time frame was
Absolutely.
it was
No, I was
huge
grateful
to be
for
able to get that.
it.
Yeah, and it kept us all a little bit more productive than we would have been, because like reading and watching TV very quickly was like, oh my god, I can't do much more of this.
You can only organize that one drawer so many times.
Yes. So tell us about the band name. Is this the MASH reference? I think it is, or is it?
Well,
a bit. Let's go a bit.
I think that was the initial impulse. At least that was my interpretation of it. Were you aware of the other reference when we started? Like, because you were the one who really came up with the band name.
Well, what, the hooligan part?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. If you have a memory, go share it.
Actually, I don't even really, because I had this idea before. So I before we played together, I used to play an acoustic uke and cello duet with a friend of mine. And then I was writing music and all this other stuff. And I think I put like a SoundCloud thing up, and I just was trying to come up with like a just silly, stupid name to give myself that was not my name. And I think you came up with Margaret Hooligan. And then this friend of mine that I was playing with, we were actually booked for a festival and she couldn't make it. So I was like, okay, great. I guess I'll do this by myself. And then I asked him if he would play with me. So he played the conga. And our daughter even did like some backup vocals and stuff like that. So we just decided at that moment to call ourselves the Margaret Hooligans, because I already had this name, but I think you were the one who coined it.
I'm sure. Yeah,
anyway,
I mean, hooligans.
So yeah, so I would say
British.
for me, it was the initial reference was Margaret Houlihan. But I didn't realize that it had a British connotation too until we started, putting our music out there and talking to these other bands. And I didn't know about football hooliganism. And so like it's to this day, we still get messages. Sometimes people are like, I love your name.
Well, I mean, the Who had a greatest hits record called Hooligans. So
okay. All right. There you go.
But Johnny Carson, we happened to be watching a Johnny Carson from, let's say, 1974. And he had Sally Kellerman, right?
Oh yeah. She was the original.
Margaret she who played.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Margaret O'Houlihan, I think, in the movie.
Was it?
I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with that.
I think so.
I could be wrong. Anyway, so he's talking to her about that character, and he's stuttering over that line, and he says, what about that MASH, the Margaret Hooligan blah 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 thing? Like he remember that he stumbled over that and named the band.
Oh. No, I don't think I do remember that. I think you
All
saw
right.
it. I don't think I saw it.
You were with me.
All right. Who knows?
In a vision.
I love asking other bands their origin names because there's always like 3 stories. There's never just a straight story.
And that's why it's always a good question, because you always get those different takes on it, especially if you got 2 of you in the same frame. It's always good.
Right.
So.
And if you don't remember it all, you have to make something up on the spot.
That's true.
And I was out with a friend on Friday night, and she was asking, she's like, so is it like the soccer hooligans? I was like, I'm going with the MASH thing, but I don't know.
Well,
I will ask.
Here's another thing. We stayed in Brighton, and I guess it's a very energetic area. Young people have a lot of fun, and it was, we're not so young, and we were with our daughter, so they didn't know that they did not need to say on our agreement, like, you better have perfect behavior, this, that, and the other thing. So the Margaret Hooligan thing is like, we're a family, or you think of older people, but they could fuck things up too. They could damage things. They could be little criminals, petty criminals, punch people on the sidewalk. So they would be the Margaret Hooligans, because you wouldn't expect them to be the nasty people.
Right. We're mischief incognito.
There we go. Thank you.
Which gets back to the spy thing, having our mission.
There you go. You're taking people out undercover. All right, that works. And it's, this all works very well for me, because obviously me getting the MASH reference, I am of an older age myself. So I quite got, I was very happy to get that reference. So I also wanted to thank you guys again for when you shared our Muckspout post for the new music. It just made my day, because we were just starting to share everybody's Bandcamp links and everything when you guys commented on it. And it's that kind of thing where you're doing, you know, as a band or as, you know, a promoter or anything like that, you're always wondering, am I doing, you know, is this what people are enjoying? Is anyone care about, you know, how I'm doing this thing? And it's like, we put a lot of work into tweaking that and trying to figure out how we were going to best promote folks and, you know, make sure that we were getting the word out for bands that we liked. And to have somebody actually comment on it, like at that point, was huge to us, because it was just like, is this even worth it? Are we doing anything where we're noticing this thing? So I thank you for giving me at least a couple more months of wanting to continue doing this. So, but no, it's like anything else. I'm, you know, obviously we're not getting paid for this. We're doing it because we love what we're doing. And it's not like we've got a giant person just like sponsoring us. Well, we do have someone that should have been on that promo to the show that I don't know how to put on. But it's just nice to know that people are enjoying that. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Very good, very
I don't even remember how I came up. You guys started mentioning us, and I don't know how you found us, but I you know, we do promo stuff through like Muzo Soup and other things. So I was like, okay, maybe they found us through that. Like, I didn't know how people find us. So I'm always just like really excited when somebody I didn't expect is like, oh my God, there's people out there listening to us. I see these weird data numbers. I don't know what they mean. I don't know if it's like, you know, one person I know over there who I know really likes us and they're just listening to us 80 times, or if it's, you know, spread out.
The Helsinki crowd.
Right. Or if it's the Helsinki robots, which is a real problem.
Okay.
For us, I'm just a music dork, and I basically get, you know, anybody that piques my interest, I like follow everybody on Bandcamp, so I get a billion Bandcamp emails every Friday, and I just kind of sort through them. And you guys came up quite a while ago. I've been following you guys, but we haven't been promoing through Muckspout for as long, so you were on my radar a while ago. But yeah, once I got started doing the weekly thing from Muckspout, it was just, you were on the radar already. So. I think I caught you guys on album number 2 possibly, and you're just starting to release singles for album number 4, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Right. We didn't know how the whole thing works these days. Like, you know, our first album, I'm like now a little upset that I didn't spend more time promoting it, because I think that's a nice solid album, and I just didn't understand how the whole music industry now works, is like where you just release like single after single after single. So we did 2 and then released the album, and of course that's not nearly enough to build a following. So now I'm trying to go back and like, you know, maybe make some other music videos for stuff eventually, and just kind of like, hey, don't forget this song exists. It's nice too.
Yep. And how do you guys feel about that? Because I'm, like we said, I'm of an older age where I used to just be excited about finding an album and just digging through it. But now it seems like it's like you need to do like one a month to keep relevant to folks coming up. So how do you guys feel about it, that new business model?
And I prefer, you know, I didn't grow up with like the singles of the 60s where that was so important. I grew up with albums. And yeah, people aren't going to take the chance and listen to song number 7 or number 9, right?
Right.
They need a snippet of one song, like we give a snippet,
right? And
they're only going to listen to a snippet. So
yeah, it's like 7 seconds is like the maximum amount of time you're supposed to make reels anymore, so people play them over and over again, which is like very upsetting. And it kind of, you know, we don't make music like that. Like we don't make music that really necessarily fits into a 7-second spot. I'm like, but then I'm missing that really nice lead part or that really nice drum fill, you know, and you don't know what to, I can't edit it. It just drives me crazy. Honestly, the short answer is I hate it. The longer, more nuanced answer is I can see the benefits in some respects. Like, you know, we're not signed to a label, obviously. No one is anymore. And it doesn't even seem to be to an advantage because they don't really seem to do much for you. Like unless you really make it so big, and in order to make it that big, you have to have this huge following, which means you had to be putting in all that groundwork to begin with. So,
oh my God, he's here.
I'm using my phone, so I'm annoying moving my phone around, trying to figure it out.
Okay.
I had
We
it
were
all up and
talking-
running, and then it kind of died again. So I was like, "Screw it." Hi
We
guys.
were just talking about the benefits of releasing something as singles as we do nowadays versus releasing things as an entire album, and the fact that I'm old and I'm used to albums. That was basically it.
Yeah.
So
So as I was saying, the more nuanced answer is that I can see the benefit to a degree because, like I said, we don't have a team behind us promoting us, so it's always us. And because of the way the internet works and because of the way these algorithms work, it seems like you really do need to constantly promote.
Vomit on people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in some respects, it's a lower stakes game, right? Like if somebody doesn't hear this one single, well, it's not the end of the world. Like we just had, like, I keep track of certain data or whatever. So we get a weekly email from iTunes that says how many people listen to our stuff. And, generally I'm not sending people to iTunes. Like I would just say, oh yeah, it's all on the streaming platforms or whatever. I usually try to direct people to either YouTube or Spotify. And we got an email that said we had 100 plays in a week. And I was like, well, that's huge. That's like 3 times what I usually get in a week. So I was trying to figure it out. And then I'm looking at it and it's all from our first album. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know who just like stumbled upon it. And, so, like I said, like in some ways it's lower stakes. Like I don't have to necessarily worry about this one song really hitting it big, even though of course that's the way the industry kind of works. That's the way the Spotify algorithm works. But I also know that I'm never going to get there in that, on the level that I'm at right now. It's like you always have to just build everything really, really slowly. So what I mostly hope for is that we don't run out of steam before we get to where people actually listen to us. But I'm also fully expecting to be like 20 years in the grave before anyone really gets it.
But I will say one thing that I enjoy about the way you release is it's one song at a time, whereas I find that some people, I call it the Russian doll effect. It's like every time they release a new single, it's like it builds almost into an album. So it's like the first song is one song, and then the second single comes out and they have that plus the previous one, and each one builds until it's a full album. And it's like, so suddenly I've got, if I've saved it on whatever service, suddenly I've got 20 versions of this building album where it's like a single within a single within a single kind of thing. And it's
Weezer did that last year when they did their seasons thing, and it was like there'd be 8 songs or whatever, and then the next one would come out, and I was like, whoa, that's a much longer one. But then I was listening, I was like, wait, I heard these all before.
Oh, so they're capitalizing on that whole idea that like we have short attention spans and everything needs to be like thrown at us.
Right.
That's why they say characters' names on TV all the freaking time.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Joe. I mean, I never say your name ever.
Yeah.
But then even so, and it might be my age once again, but it's like character names on TV shows, you can repeat it 50 times and I'm still like, who the fuck was that? I have no idea what just happened.
So now we know who that was directed at. It was you. Thanks.
I'm the guy.
Yeah, we know this happened, guys. Jesus.
Captain attention span over here.
So you're like, soap operas are really like your speed. That's the show you want to watch.
Right.
Little Telemundo, yeah. It's got to be enough passion in there.
Yeah, no, those are good. I like to work on my Spanish by watching those.
So, you also did a recent song with the Quarks. You did You recorded 3 songs with them, and is that going to be?
We only released the one.
Okay,
but
is that going to be a separate thing?
What's that?
Is that going to be a separate thing from the new album,
Yes.
or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
So we had already finished the 4th album before we went to go. We took a trip to England this past summer. We met with 9 O'Clock Nasty and the Quarks, and we had a visit from one half of I Am the Unicorn Head, if you're aware of them. But anyway, so when we met with the Quarks, I just kind of loosely said, well, maybe we could jam and record or whatever. And these guys like went out of their way to set up a space for us. They had a connection with this community center, and I guess a contact that really liked us. So he basically let us borrow this space for free for a few hours, and they brought all this recording equipment, and we just jammed and came up with like 3 songs that afternoon, which we did a few overdubs like once we got back here, but that was really it.
Yeah, like we were walking in like kind of like a maze and kind of foresty. We didn't know where we were. There were no addresses. We don't know anything. We don't know whether to look left or right. And we kind of go up to a building through a back way, and there's a guy there, and he comes up to us. And he goes, "You the Margaret Hooligans?" And it's like, "Oh, okay." And he was the guy who was like running the building and knew everything. It's like, you know.
Yeah, that's one of those like weird internet things where like people maybe have seen you and you don't know them, and they're like, "Oh, hi, yes, I am."
It wasn't just random guy asking if you want.
Right.
Okay.
How did he know? I'm not wearing my jacket.
So you guys came up with 3 full songs in an afternoon with another band?
Yeah, it
It
was amazing.
It was a lot of playing. There was not a lot of talking. It was a lot of just I mean, like someone would say something like, I would say, "Hey, let's make this one a fast one," and then boom, they're in.
Yeah.
You were playing the bouzouki on the first
Oh
song?
yeah. So I usually play an electric ukulele or an acoustic ukulele, but for this band, usually electric. I can play the guitar, but I don't prefer it. I like 4 strings. So when we were there, of course, I didn't bring my instrument with me, and they were trying to figure out what to give me to play. And I said, "Well, just give me a guitar. It's fine." And Phil, one of the guitarists for the Quarks, is like, "Oh, I have an Irish bouzouki," and I was like, "Well, okay, let's check that out." I never
give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved it. I mean, I had never played in that tuning. It was like, whenever I don't know if you guys play guitar or anything like that, but like, I love when you get different things and you don't know what to expect from it, and then you start messing around and it just does different things to your brain that you didn't expect. So I love the novelty of that stuff. So that was like a big inspiration. So all of a sudden I'm coming up with different things I wouldn't have maybe come up with before. And I just bought one because I loved playing it. And then it bothered me that we have songs out there that I couldn't play because I don't own the instrument.
No,
Do you ever have you ever like recorded like that before, where you just went in and made up songs in an afternoon in the studio like that, or was that
only recording what we would call like a rough version of, but not record and that's it? I mean, Simon brought his little recording thing and he was working things while we were like talking in between songs. I mean, they really it was so casual, but it was so right on the money. It was very good.
Yeah, I do wonder if part of that, like, I know they have to like rent a space in order to record themselves. So I'm wondering if they're just a little more, they're just better at it, honestly. Like he had a mixing console. Like all the levels were like pretty good. And he'd already figured all that stuff out. Like it takes us forever. Like the fact that like you were talking about not being a tech guy, John, we are not tech people either. The fact that we learned how to.
Right about here, we had some more fucking technical issues, and apologies, but it picks up after a few minutes, and here we go.
Shit.
And we're live again.
Yay!
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Thanks. Take 2.
You're our first return. I think your first return guest.
Well, you made it so easy for us to return.
Well, sorry I fucked things up.
Oh, Jesus. Just excuse him. He sometimes has cramps because he plays baseball for hours on Sunday mornings and doesn't drink enough water or something.
Well, don't. That's fine.
That's quite all right.
Just
I'm not punching him under the table, is what I want you to understand. We just explain what the Margaret Hooligans means.
We're just working on a skit. We talk to people, and suddenly my leg makes the table flip over.
He'll be on SNL next week.
Oh, okay.
Need a banana or something?
No,
You all right?
No, I'm fine. I see a wiffle ball. Everything's fine.
My doctor got me on a Gatorade a day, so maybe check that out.
Does that help?
Yeah, it did. All right, we're back.
All right. What the hell were we talking about?
We were talking. Oddly, we were still talking about not being very good at technology. Eric worked that very well into the conversation.
There's a theme there.
Our kids will laugh at this.
We only have one.
I meant in general. I don't know if they have children.
I do.
Okay, there you go.
I've just got that wheezy
just
cat.
The cat, yeah.
Yeah.
He'll laugh at you too. Don't worry.
Okay.
I could have gotten this right.
God damn it. I know, he's probably better at tech than I am, to be honest with you.
At least better pissing on it.
That's true. That would be our bad.
So were the Quirks your first collaboration like that?
No, with
No.
Nasty.
Yeah, no. So we did before we left Ring. How long ago was it? I guess it was in the spring.
Well, yeah.
9 O'Clock Nasty had asked me to sing vocals on their single "Bird of Happiness," which is the last track on their album that just came out. And Rob Strontium, excuse me, Mr. Strauntz. I forgot code names. Shit, they're gonna
His secret identity.
I just outed him. I didn't mean to. He had actually added some too, but if you've paid attention, sometimes a lot of his vocals are very comical, and it turns out they wanted a little more of a straight shot for the song.
Yeah, they wanted it heartfelt.
Yeah,
and it is.
It is.
And your voice heartfelted the shit out of that.
So there is another version out there which is a little more B-52s ish. That he's threatened. I don't know. He said he might release at some point.
But we're in the video.
We're all in the video, which we shot when we went over to visit them. And so we done that, and then they actually for Revenge of the Scarjo, which is our other single that's out from the new album, is they found a location for us and let me pretend to harass all of them and stalk them, which was a lot of fun and also really, really awkward and weird. And then what else? So then we met up with the Quarks. So that was I guess our first. That was our first collaboration that was not like a digital one where we just sent like stems back and forth.
Okay.
Because then we have a third thing that's out this month, which I did vocals for. I Am the Unicorn Head. They have a song called "Take Me as I Am," which just came out on Friday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I think we're caught up. We have a few other things on the back burner, but those are the three bands we've been working with mostly for collaboration.
So clearly you like collaborating. Is there like a dream collaboration that you would love to do?
I mean, it's nice to work with people that you like working with. Like, I mean, we really like these people as human beings, and we really enjoy their music. So, I mean, it's been pretty ideal working with them. There hasn't really been a whole lot of, I don't like what he did there. You know, like that can be awkward, like especially if you really like them. I feel like it pretty much just flowed nicely.
I mean, it would be nice if certain people that we like somehow liked us, but if someone plays something really well, that's what we would want on the thing. It doesn't have to come from a certain type of person.
Right.
Cool.
But you would want what? Annie Clark to play lead on something?
Yeah, I'd like some St. Vincent action. If I had a dream collaboration, and I think somebody would like a little Pete Townsend collaboration if he was up for it. We did try to get him to collaborate on an Instagram reel when we wrote a song called Pete and Roger about him and Roger Daltrey. Yeah, but I don't think he knows how to use Instagram very well.
We did talk about people of a certain age, so yes.
Yeah. Well, I even noticed it in it's really interesting when the older generation does it, because I'm sure that they have to, but you can kind of tell who's probably managing the account versus who's actually using their account. So we also wrote a song called, now that I'm just dropping all the names, Oh Lord Hit It from the second album. And it was loosely based on the idea of a woman who's just kind of a dilettante and who's kind of screwing up her life and drinks to make up with it. So naturally we thought of Sue Ellen Ewing from Dallas, and Linda Gray, like we kept tagging her and her stuff, and I was just doing it, for fun, like not really expecting anything.
Did you say we used a lot of videos of
Dallas? Yeah, I did that too. Yeah.
In the video, we were allowed to use lots of videos from Dallas, and there were some great ones with her. She was a wonderful drunk character sometimes. And she'd throw a wine glass at JR. It was very entertaining.
Anyway, one day I'm going through our Instagram, feed of notifications, and I see Linda Gray liked your thing, and I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, I'm cyber stalking her. I'm like, is it really her? Is it just like her grandkid? Like, and so I, every once in a while I see stuff pop up, and I think it might actually be her, because like it's it's like nice stuff. It's like, oh, here's this thing about my son, and here's this thing about, here's me with my friend. I mean, it's like very sparse and very personal. And I'm like,
not celebrity.
So maybe this really is her. Maybe she actually saw it, which would be nice to think, and I plan to think that way.
And
Absolutely.
we might get another.
Wait, which one?
Lucy.
Oh, right.
Don't say anything.
All right.
That's it.
Oh, we got secrets.
Well, code names. You got to have some secrets, right?
Absolutely.
I always love Billy Idol's account. He like shares pictures of like his grandkids and stuff. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, you do wonder if there's somebody directing you to do that, or if it's like them.
right.
Because I work with a social media team for my business, and
Yeah.
I've got a general sense of what should go up there, but every once in a while they'd make some suggestions about what they thought did well, and you're like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's like when you're following certain things and you're like, I don't know if Alice Cooper really said that.
True.
That's so often.
So now I was looking at the first two singles off the fourth album here. They both seem to have a kind of smash the patriarchy kind of feel to it. Is that a overall theme for the album, or is it just happened to be coincidental that those were both kind of?
I mean, those are two. Do we have maybe 3 out of 14?
Yeah, Main Street Zulus kind of has that feel.
Oh, okay. So maybe the first 3 fucking songs of the record. Oh, yeah.
Alley Cat Stops next, so that one's.
Oh, okay.
That one's about.
Yeah, we're being nice. Then you were saying that he's not as good as you were. I had to change that.
No. They don't know.
No. She's fine with people. I don't want her to say nice things, pretty things, things with quality. I want her to belt out shit.
It works out well. I'm angry when I sing, so
yeah. Sing when I'm angry.
Yeah, pretty much. So back to your question. Yes and no. Like when we come up with the albums for the songs, it mostly has to do more with like how we think they sound together. So if there's like some overarching themes, it's more coincidental than on purpose. But of course, all this has been written in the last few years when all this stuff is going down. Yeah. So it's like, well, I guess so. But I think, no, I think that's right. I'm going to stick with that answer.
Final answer? Okay. Yeah, it just seemed like it was interesting. Those were the first 2 lead singles off it. So I was just sensing a theme. So I was just curious.
There'll be humor and other things.
Yeah. Although I think this one is a bit more serious. There's also a lot less swearing. We can actually play it on the radio.
Well, oh yeah, actually we have I think the song that ends the record, I really like it. But
oh yeah, that one
we can't. It's
that's the explicit one.
Yeah, you're a sick motherfucker. She says that maybe 20 times in the song. It's a verse and a chorus, obviously.
Right. It's very versatile, that phrase.
Oh yeah.
That's about it. Everything else we're a delight.
Yeah. Because usually we were before, well, like in the break while we were waiting for the second link, I was just talking about how like what songs I need to upload to DistroKid and all this stuff. And, of course, when you go through them, you have to go, oh, is there explicit lyrics? And I go, I got to go listen to it and see. Because, like, I know what I've written, but he adds stuff later and I don't always like pay attention. Oh, crap, he said something there. I forgot about it. It's not my line, so, I don't need to know it.
Is there anything that's been made on any of these programs that we've been talking about that you can just run it through and go, all right, where's the fucking swearing in this? Which tracks have any explicit lyrics on it?
I forgot sometimes. You go to upload and you're supposed to say, warn people. And I think we put up one song and I was like, oh no, there's something in that one and I forgot. I can't remember what I think I left it because I kind of figured like we're not big time. No one's gonna.
Well, we could put Tipper Gore stickers on the CDs so the kids will know this is inflammatory.
And they'll buy more of them.
Yeah, that's why. And to have nice stickers.
Mm-hmm. Stickers are nice.
You gotta play nice with the PMRC.
Yeah.
Speaking of dating ourselves, there we go. I remember doing a report on the PMRC back in high school, which was way too long ago. I don't want to talk about when that was.
No. My high school we were never very good at the whole being a senior class, like how you're supposed to have like trips and be organized. And I don't even think we had a senior class trip. We were so anti any of that. And we also have held off on not having any reunions, as far as I know. I think maybe people did like a 5 and 10-year-old, but we don't really pay attention. So we just passed our 25th and I didn't hear anything. So I assume we're still the class we always were. I'm really proud of that.
Well, there could be a lot of deaths, a lot of betrayals.
Usually you hear about that on Facebook, although now I'm not on Facebook, so I don't hear about it anymore.
Yeah, I think our class has done them. I think I've gotten off the list since I've never attended anything. I think they finally stopped. They're like,
right.
This guy's never showing up. So
yeah, I don't know what that would be like. I mean, I do feel like there's a lot of stalking that happens on Facebook, and I think the purpose is just to see where people ended up. You always like find these friend requests from people you're like, I barely know them, or maybe I know them, and then I don't care to be involved in all of that. I mean, we've got fan pages. Go look at those.
For me, it was probably more of like, all right, did they give me a swirly, or was that how did it look like upside down in the toilet? I'm not 100%. So I was not the sparkling hunk of man I am now. So.
I can't.
You don't want to peak too. You don't want to peak too early.
That's true.
And you'll just be bitter and have resentment.
Exactly.
Unlike now, where I'm still bitter and have resentment. But for totally different reasons.
So one thing that's been on our radar lately is the whole like shake up at Bandcamp and everything with them laying a bunch of folks off. Have you guys noticed anything on your end? Like, have they come across to any of the musicians saying that anything's going to change for anything for how they're hosting you guys or anything like that? Or is it business as usual?
I haven't heard anything. That being said, I don't pay loads of attention. I kind of just put things out there and hope people look at it. I honestly, it's a lot of work to keep track of all this stuff. So I'm not, now that you're saying it, I'm like, I feel like I got an email from some corporate Bandcamp saying they were doing things, and now I can't remember what they were.
I'm hoping that everything else will be business as usual. Let's put it that way, because I've loved and we've loved Bandcamp for years. Basically, Bandcamp Friday is like our national holiday kind of thing for us. We love it, and we've supported them for so many years.
I was surprised that they did a Bandcamp Friday last week after like letting go of all those people. Like,
oh, did they? Because I just got an email that said it was coming up this Friday.
Oh, is it this one?
Yeah,
I saw they were doing one coming up at least, and it probably is then.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this Friday. Yeah.
When I saw it coming up, I was kind of surprised after all those people like that they're still doing.
I would hope that at very least through the end of this year that they'd continue doing Bandcamp Fridays and things like that, because it just makes sense. I mean,
okay, so I do think I have no idea what's going on. What is going on? Did they lay off a lot of people?
They laid off like half their, something like that.
So, nice. So I guess they're not making that much money off of us artists then.
Well, I think it's also whoever bought them out last year was some video game company.
It was Epic. It was the Fortnite guys.
That's right. No, I do remember seeing an email about that, but I didn't hear about the layoffs. So I just knew that they had been bought out, and that was concerning. Yes.
And this is very recent. It was like 2 weeks ago, Eric, something like that?
At most, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was very recent. So I just didn't know if you guys had heard anything about it.
Not from them, no. And like I said, we've been having a very bad month, so I kind of was a little concerned about personal issues.
Gotcha. So
there'll be a song about it in the future, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. A mouse ran away with my ID.
That's it. Yeah, one.
All right then.
Yeah. We'll explain it in the liner notes. It's okay.
Fantastic. Do I get liner notes anywhere?
I know. I love that they always in Bandcamp in particular, they're always like, "This is the place for liner notes." And you're like, "What would that even look like?" I mean, would somebody bother to read this? I mean, I've always put in lyrics because I figure, as somebody who writes them, I appreciate other people. I appreciate reading other people's, and I assume that other people want to read them. But no, I don't bother with that other than track credits and the lyrics.
Yeah, I was going to say, have seen very few people do it, but some people will do like a PDF booklet kind of thing, which is kind of cute and retro. If you
Right.
know.
A lot of the
just did one. It was really sweet. They did it for Culture War, and they sent it to us, and it was actually, I really appreciated it because you think you know what a song is about, and then they kind of like gave a little bit of a backstory, and they are so clever at giving you just enough that you can still kind of keep your own interpretation, but gave you a little bit more, so you're like, oh, but this is what you think it's about. Because as you know, once it's out there, it's not really yours anymore.
I see them a lot as like parts of anniversary sets and deluxe editions.
Okay,
that's where I see a lot of that. Just Smoking Popes just did release their first album with liner notes, which I haven't sat and read yet. Now that I think about it,
yeah. I don't even remember what they look like. Like I remember that being like the favorite thing when you got an album, like you'd open it up and you'd be like, oh, what's inside? And you get to read all the lyrics and like, oh, all these special acknowledgments, But I don't, other than the acknowledgments.
You'd like the special acknowledgments?
Yes, I'm like, what's his face in High Fidelity who wished that like, oh, maybe there's a little private joke in the liner notes just from, if you wanted to date a musician. Maybe not. Anyway.
It's that heartfelt stuff I don't understand.
The man I married, everyone. The man with no heart.
I'm not going to the music one either.
It was somebody actually did that as an exercise for some Facebook group I was on, a vinyl group or something, saying pick an album from the 90s and look at the liner notes and tell us, some other band that you found in the liner notes that you really enjoyed in the thank yous. And I was like, it was interesting to go through some of them and see who people thanked, just random fuckers that you were expecting to see. So it's kind of cool.
That person they were dating at the time and then they broke up later. Like you still have that like historical liner note. Thank you. See, it is.
Oh, you're looking for the Travis Kelce liner notes?
I didn't date him.
Well, it was also cool to see like people that they had toured with coming up and things like that they thanked for, and it's like that was always fun to me. I always like seeing little bands thanking each other and like just kind of it wasn't super schmaltzy but cute enough. So
right. It's nice. It reminds you that there's humans behind things, which is harder to remember now that we're all on these screens.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Now, do you guys tour or are you primarily a recording?
We're recording. We like playing together. We do a lot of jamming. But as far as playing in front of other people, I don't really need to do that right now. You would want to do it, but
yeah.
I did it a lot in the past. She didn't, so she wants to do it now.
It's only a small bone of contention in our band.
Hey, as long as you're cranking that music up, like I'm good. So I was just curious because that's also like the curiosity of if you were playing out, like who you like to play with and that kind of thing. That's always something I like to find out.
Yeah,
who folks enjoy playing with, and contemporaries that you enjoy the music that's coming out and things like that.
Okay. And there's a lot in your music. I was gonna follow up by asking how you accomplish that on stage, but
yeah, that would be the trick of it.
We would simplify and get just a little. There'd be dynamics, but it'd be a little more rock and a little more punk, a little more with the noise and a little less subtlety. Like most bands when they play live, they maybe speed things up a little bit. Blah blah blah. We'd act like there aren't any mics on what we're doing, and we're in a basement, and we just have to kind of blast it. So,
right.
I
mean, I think the biggest hardship for me to overcome would be that I have to play rhythm and lead, which is tricky. So then you have to make choices.
Well, you just have to make the leads really good, because once you stop playing rhythm, that's fine. It's just you and me, and it's
right. That's what I'm saying. Whatever. Like that's what I would have to be orchestrated. And since we haven't played live, we don't worry about it at the moment, which is always a little funny because, like, with the recording process the way it is now, like, we're not doing it live, to tape or something. So you can like add little extra things. So I have a couple of leads on a few songs where I know we mashed two things together so it's technically not possible to play unless there's a second person. Which is fine because I really like the way it sounded, but like I'd have to make a choice. I'd have to change that lead for a live show. But
thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Or you'd have to clone yourself somehow.
Right. I mean, there are people do tricks like they have like the looper pedals and other other things. And in fact, again, speaking of bands, so this summer when we went to England, we were hoping to play live with both 9 O'Clock Nasty and the Quarks, and it ended up falling apart because we couldn't find a venue that would allow our daughter in.
Even though we actually did go to a show,
right?
A 9 O'Clock Nasty show that was a very punk show, like loud bands. The audience was right on, and our daughter was allowed to be there the whole time without a problem.
Right, but that came after the fact. Like after they'd been rejected by all the venues, then they got asked to support this other band, Gay Bikers on Acid, and they just happened to like I guess have a contact at the bar, and they just schmoozed them and just said, listen, she won't do anything. She'll be with her parents the whole time. And they let it happen. So that was nice because she got to, experience that with us. But yeah, so that fell apart, which in hindsight is probably good because we've traveled by train the whole way and there was rail strikes. And I cannot imagine carrying our equipment and all of our luggage during a rail strike.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
What was the one trip? What were we carrying around? We had a freaking 10-pound box of cornflakes that she bought like right off the plane because she felt terrible. Like, hey guys, no one needs cornflakes. What are you doing? She thought we were going to be stranded somewhere. So, well, we can eat the cornflakes. We carried that around to the ends of England. Oh God!
Survival instincts kick in. You gotta follow that.
Yeah, you do. You don't know what it's like to not be able to eat anything.
I went to the grocery store and I did the right thing. I got the goddamn chocolate, and that's it. And bread.
Well, I can't eat bread, so what do you want?
Eat the cornflakes either.
Anyway, back to the question. What was the question?
The question is no, I don't like cornflakes.
Oh. What was the answer?
So I saw that Mr. Strontium that you play drums, percussion, and teapot.
It's true. That is true.
And, how does that work?
So you have a teapot that it's either dented already or you've put the dent in. You pour various amounts of water for the different sounds. Hold the handle, hit with the mallet, and then right as you hit it, shake it a little bit. And it has to be near a mic in a certain way that doesn't work out so well. So you have to do that 20 times to get a sound that isn't the ping, but is the warble of the water in the teapot. So
cool. Sounds complicated.
It's a work in progress.
Cool.
And then there's the low.
Yeah.
I was never going to say that the teapot was a lie.
It's not.
No, it is.
It's in at least one song.
It's in.
That's all it takes to make it true.
Yeah.
I think that was one of my favorite things I saw. Like when I was in my 20s, I saw Jane's Addiction play, and their drummer Steve Perkins, I think is the guy's name. He brought out a cooler and various pots and pans and played the best drum solo I think I've ever fucking seen on it. Like, all right, buddy, awesome. You can play that. I'm happy.
Some of those guys on the streets play stuff. I mean, with the buckets and other things that are amazing. But yeah, I remember the first time I heard their Sympathy for the Devil. Early on, like a guitarist friend who was in the band said, "Hey, I got to turn you on to this." I was like, holy shit, you guys are more devilish than the Stones were. God damn.
Yeah, that XXX Live album was just ridiculous. It was just some of the stuff on that was just so raw and so fun. It was just absolutely ridiculous. It was kudos. So I'd like to think that's what you guys would sound like if we were to see you guys live. So
Sure, why not? I wouldn't mind.
I don't think we have your vocals exploding into the sky in the same way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the rawness of the music, I think, would be.
Yeah, sure. But they had an eerie, I won't say evil, but something really, winding around in the alley type of sound. You know what I'm saying? Like not a triumphant sound.
Yep. And it was so loose in a way, but so tight in others that it was just like, it was just like playing into the ether. It was wonderful.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we try to go for the loose tight.
Yeah. Or as someone has described it, I think my favorite description of it was you feel like the wheels of the car are going to fall off at any second, and then they don't.
Feel it again. You keep feeling it, and eventually you do this.
Picking on the roller coaster at Atlantic City.
How would you describe and how would you describe your sound yourself?
Oh. How would we describe it? We've made descriptions. I don't know if they're right.
Loose, tight, melodic, noisy, heavy at times. There's some anger. There's plenty of humor. And energy the whole time. Why would we be doing this if we're not doing something? And that something has to create more energy than just living, just hanging around. You go.
Me go.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to condense that?
Oh, you have an idea, maybe.
I've written things down. They don't come to mind when people ask me questions, unfortunately, because my brain doesn't work anymore. No, we had a phrase. I think it was like underground dance garage proto-punk or something like that. I don't remember what it was. No, maybe not. I don't know. But it kind of evolves, honestly. I feel like, every song is a little different because I feel like everything falls under the umbrella of rock, definitely. But then there's these other little genres that kind of weave in and that. Like, some things are a little psychedelic. Some things are a little more R&B. Some things are a little more punk. I always, but it's also very loud garage rock with the wheels nearly coming off. That's
and I do love that you go ahead.
I started playing the one album and like the sound of it was very serious, but then the song was about wanting a dog. And I had it on while I was trying to figure out where I was going, and then I kind of did like a double take, like, wait, what was that? Like, I had to go back and play it. It was something like didn't really match, but it was really
yeah. That's the Margaret Hooligans of it, like that it's kind of in disguise.
So we had two songs about dogs, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, the other one was about not feeding the dog because you were hungry. Yeah, the dog ones really hit.
Yeah, they do. They really do. When we first released that album, that song did the best, the My Dog Ringo song. And I was like, okay, really? To me, like, there's certain songs that you like them, and it's almost like a guilty like, where you're like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like this that much, because it had a very pop feel to me, which is not always what we're going for. But that one has done really well.
So I guess it has such a pop feel that I like it, but I'm not a pop guy. We're from Philly, and after Michael Vick went to jail, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, wanted him back in football because he would sell. And he convinced the owner of the Eagles to get him to be a backup to Donovan McNabb, who's getting a little older. And he did it. And I wasn't thrilled about that. So on her pop song, I just, had to end that,
Oh, yeah, okay. I was just in Philly last week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, nice town.
Had you been before?
No. I've driven past on the way to Jersey before, but never actually visited. I was actually working. I was working in the Poconos, so
okay.
I flew into Philly, spent the day there, went to Max Tavern, and I'm a big Always Sunny fan. So
I gotcha. I was gonna say, what were your highlights of the trip?
There's a guy that was peeing in the parking lot behind me while I was talking to some people.
Oh, that's pure Philly.
Well, that's
There
normal.
was the lady.
That's usually me when I used to go to the city. If not crapping in the snowy wilderness after a show.
There's a guy at the gas station that was standing on top of his car, pounding his chest, saying, "I'm never going back to prison."
Okay.
He wasn't really selling it though.
There might be some behaviors that are more suited to not going back to prison.
Then at the airport, the lady at Gino's cheesesteak was yelled at a pilot for not taking his receipt. So charming.
You got the full Philly experience, I would say. You got it, the hat trick. Yeah, I mean, we are who we are. It's really interesting coming like from a place where people are very polite, and then you
Where's
get into England's pretty polite,
Oh,
don't you
okay.
say?
Yeah.
And then you get back into the Philly airport, and you're like, yeah, this is home. Like people are screaming at each other and like, cutting people off, or
Someone on the horn and just not letting up, even though nothing can move. You see that?
That's you.
You just want to. No, that's not true at all. I have brains with my anger.
Sure, that's what you say.
Yeah, Philly's tough. Philly's not really nice to strangers. It's not lovely, brotherly to strangers.
No, it's not. In fact, we have family from South Carolina, and I won't let them drive here because I'm like, no. First of all, you don't understand, and second of all, you'll get killed. Like, we'll drive.
Do they drive too slowly?
Yes, way too slow. You can't do that here. It's not
allowed.
True. That's awesome.
All right, so we've probably kept you like
it's been a good time, yeah.
And we apologize again for all the
sorry about all this technical error.
No worries.
We never apologize for technology.
It is its own worst apology.
Well, we appreciate you guys hanging through it all.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
This was a blast.
All right.
All right, good night, guys. Thanks
See
a
you later.
lot.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Take care. Hey, you made it through an entire episode. Good for you. If you're looking for more, give the rest of the channel a look. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We'll catch you fuckers next time. Later.